Hello there. And thank you for joining us on this week's episode of the Miles Offside podcast, where one American and two Brits try to talk about the World Cup, but often get distracted. I am your host with the most, Oscar Puente, and I have the absolute pleasure of being joined by my two very good friends, Chuck Bailey and Ian Stimson.
Ooh.
Boys, are we still pretending we don't care about the World Cup, or are we sad, or where are we at in the grief process at this point? I don't know.
Oh, I'm not asked about that. I was just enjoying you calling us very good friends. That was nice. It was a nice little lift of this day, this bleak midwinter. The World Cup, is that still going on?
One more game to go.
One more game.
At the time of recording, you listener might be in the future, in which case you will be probably confused by the fact that you're like, wait, it's not the World Cup happening right now. Because apparently listeners don't understand time.
No. See, I'm the one giving the listeners credit, i.e. they wouldn't listen to a pre... you're an idiot. Fuck off.
Let's date this podcast in a way that he'll appreciate, Oscar.
Yeah, it is Thursday, December 15th.
You've got a dog? No, fuck that. You've got a dog,
okay.
Ian.
Oh, yeah, I've done a dog.
What?
No, awful business.
Uh-oh. That's a good way to get it taken away right away.
I've got a dog, so I'm very tired at the minute, but it's all fine.
Got a dog. And I assume you named the dog after some sort of inspirational figure in your life, something that's been major, perhaps that's really, been formative. For your family, what have you called the dog? Sorry,
fish tank. We've called the dog Bailey.
Bailey. Oh,
yeah.
Well.
Oh man.
Was Puente taken?
Yeah. He doesn't look like a Puente.
I need a chocolate lab for that. I can make that joke.
Exactly, yeah. I can't go near it with a fucking barge pole, but yeah, anyway.
Nope.
No. I don't know where to go after that, but yes, apparently I've named my dog after your surname.
Well, hang on, no, apparently there's no point at which, in deciding on said naming process, that deciding on Bailey didn't occur to you,
It came up, yeah, absolutely. So... we did have, I can't remember what the original name we had, and then Kelly had one of her flights of fancy and decided that she suddenly didn't like the name we'd decided on. And she said, I keep imagine calling anything Ian. But anyway, she goes, I keep coming back to Bailey. And I went, we can't imagine him. Just imagine him. I was like, I can't do that. He's gonna just hold it over me for however long this dog lives, which the more you make a big deal out of it, the less long he will live. I will make. So it's all on you.
Right.
It's all on you.
Don't try to offset your dog murder, A, and B, that won't stop me. That won't stop me. I feel honoured. It's great that you wanted me to be more of a part of your home life. It's great. It's pretty great. I appreciate it, mate.
I love how Kelly wanted the name Bailey. Ian didn't want the name Bailey.
So guess what the dog's called?
Named Bailey.
Exactly.
Yep,
yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Ian is back to being the fourth most important person in his house now that there's a dog again.
Yeah, exactly. I've gone right down the pecking order.
Right down the order.
I mean, what I really should do is make, comparisons to Chuck as in a creature that doesn't know how to groom himself, eats his own shit, that sort of thing. But
yeah.
Feels like that escalated unnecessarily
Chuck,
quickly.
Are you going to take that from him? That's
I do eat out of a bowl on the floor. So
I thought you were about to say I do eat my own poop.
Oh no, not again.
Well, listeners, if you're joining us for the first time, thank you. We're very happy to have you.
England are out.
Oh yeah, that happened.
Oh dear. I mean, yeah, it did happen. Well, I don't know whether to ask Oscar how he's feeling about it, because it should be indifference. It probably is indifference.
No, very happy. Everyone hates England except for you guys. We're all really anti-England in the rest of the world, given everything you've done for the world.
You
in your
love
history,
England compared to how much I hate England as a state.
That's probably true.
So
I just think Oscar introduced the pod. Oh, my very good friends, and then within a few minutes, no, I hate England. I want you to all feel bad.
I hate you. I hate your family. I hate everything you stand for.
We are very happy when you guys do poorly in things. Yeah,
as in US soccer fans or just everyone else, because that's perfectly reasonable.
No, the whole world.
The whole world.
You remember the whole Empire thing that you guys did?
I do. Yeah,
that bit.
I wasn't directly involved myself, but yes, I do. I do remember. Yeah.
We're all decidedly anti-English.
Yeah, but then we started the Commonwealth and gave those nations the opportunity to win their gold back.
Via athletic events?
Via athletic achievement,
yeah.
Okay. We might. Hey, we're nearly giving the Elgin marbles back. Progress.
Nearly. Yeah, we've mentioned.
Thought about it.
Yeah, exactly.
We've acknowledged to Greece that we might be done with them.
Yeah. Have we acknowledged that we nicked them in the first place?
We're not done looking yet. Yeah, football.
I don't know. We keep saying it, but we don't want to talk about it. I don't know.
I'm happy to talk about it.
Yeah.
Are you guys going to cry about the refereeing, or what do you like? What's the avenue here to approach the England-France game? Because France were better, and that's made everyone happy. So
I don't know if France were better. I think it was fairly even.
They were more clinical in the moments at which they were attacking, but in terms of overall sustained balance of play, I would say England were better, if not as good, when France were good across wider swathes of time.
That's actually a very fair thing to say.
You're welcome.
And I think, yes, the referee was very poor, but you can't cry about these things. It's
yeah.
You're gonna get varying levels of refereeing. Sometimes it goes your way, sometimes it doesn't.
Just constant level of shit. I think we've seen it in quite a few games. Though there was, remember the dude who 17 yellow cards in the match, and I think did Denzel Dumfries get 2 yellow cards during the penalty shootout? I think not to want to dodge the England thing, but I kind of got. I think once we got drawn with France, and it kind of stepped up a notch, because I think in terms of, at that point anyway, it was kind of the highest quality, as it were, matchup in the whole tournament. I think out of 2 teams that you could arguably say were going to reach it, you know what I mean, in the quarterfinals. Yeah. And so I got quite excited. I was a bit nervous before it started, and obviously got into it. And then, unlike in 2018 or in the Euros, where I was just beside myself for hours, if not days, like a few minutes later, like the match finished, and Gina went, "Can we change the channel now?" And I was like, "Yeah." I'm like, I'm fine. There's obviously, you want to discuss it and whatever, but I'm not too fussed. I think overall, I was very critical of England going into the tournament, of Southgate. I think in some ways that was justified. I think in others, the small sample size of the World Cup showed through the number of goals, for example, that we were scoring, that there was progress there again. And to go out to France, it's not. We did. There was no disgrace in it. And we complain about the referee. There was the multiple fouls on Saka, sure. There was the penalty for Kane in the first half, sure. But the ref still gave us 2 penalties.
Yeah, you've got to overcome these things. Is ultimately what you've got to do to progress, and we didn't. And it's losing to France, who are now finalists. It's I think if we were talking about it before the tournament, I think we probably said we'll go out in the quarterfinals to France.
I think Oscar exactly said.
And when I said on penalty kicks, that's not what I had in mind.
Well, it was penalty kick. It was penalty kick that we went out on. Time, yeah. So Spursy, very very Spursy.
Progress. You didn't need 5 of them to lose.
Yeah, exactly. Just get it more efficient.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I'm okay with it, really. I think. I don't know if Ian, if you're feeling any different.
It's so funny because that feels like the same vibe I've had very much when we've gone out in previous tournaments. The malaise set in where you go, well, I'm not watching this for at least a round. I might come back to it, after the round after England are out or whatever. Yeah, I'm not overly fussed about it. I think we performed well against France. I don't know really what else we could have done other than, as you say, be a bit more clinical in front of goal.
Score,
but I thought, yeah, that is the thing. You've got to score more goals than the other team. But we went out to France. Fair enough. That is fair enough. I think we'll obviously get on to the final, but I think in my head, I think France have got the better chance of winning well, if you go out to the eventual winners, it's not the end of the world. We didn't disgrace ourselves at any point in the tournament, I don't think. So yeah, and this whole tournament has felt weird, hasn't it? So it's just it just goes along with all of that I'm not too upset about it, really.
Yeah, well, you say you didn't disgrace yourselves, but this was actually the first World Cup where an England fan was not arrested in the history of World Cups.
Sorry, what?
I just saw that headline today. So
Bullshit.
Quite right, no disgrace.
Fuck me.
Can't be right, surely.
Does not agree. Someone go out there and do something. Come on.
Yeah, yeah. Well, imagine that. Days after we're out, someone
do us proud.
Sticks a flare up his arse.
There's flares up the arse of every England fan in central Doha. Just some sort of grand salute.
21 flare salute.
Yeah, it'll be like when Dumbledore dies in spoilers, Half-Blood Prince, and all the wizards go out and do like sparks up in the air, but it'll be England fans with flares up the arse. There you go.
What a beautiful
a reference for Oscar there.
Thanks. That's something I understand. You said Harry Potter.
Sadly, we can't focus on our tears or lack of tears. Hey, certain shit players losing and crying their way out of the stadiums was good, wasn't it? Thanks, Morocco.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's been a good tournament for arseholes crying. But it's Morocco having a hell of a time, and they've not shithoused their way to it. They've not scraped by at all. They played really good football throughout. They've been so fun to watch.
They were the better team in most of their wins.
Absolutely,
they were decidedly the better team.
Yeah,
They conceded one goal until they played France. One goal, and it was an own goal.
Yeah,
like the whole tournament.
They only scored against themselves.
That's insane.
They did really well. I think it's brilliant. It was brilliant to have African nation in the semi-final. That was the first time, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they even gave a good account of themselves against France. I know the scoreline was 2-0, but. They could have taken some chances. It just didn't fall for them. I think it wasn't. France didn't ruin them. It was. I think if you're a Morocco fan, you've had an absolutely fucking lovely old time, and the fans have been brilliant in the stadium as well. They're absolutely loving it. Because you know what it's like. Often these World Cup games, so many corporate tickets, especially when you're talking about a moneyed World Cup as this one. But those fans brought some atmosphere as well. I mean, they were absolutely buzzing and loving it. It was were Morocco one of those teams where the sum was greater than their part? What is it? Better than the
greater than the sum of their parts.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Well, it was weird. Like I mentioned with Oscar last time, and now I've heard it on subsequent podcasts that they were in a lot of trouble and lots of players were all over the shop. Ziyech had been pushed out effectively by the old coach, and this manager, I think the France game was his 9th game in charge of Morocco.
Really?
Wow.
So such a short turnaround to just kind of building on a bit of defensive solidity as there were, but kind of taking that Southgate the first time route of like, let's just have some good vibes, let's be together, let's have that communality, fight for each other, and we thought group stages, right, they've topped the group, could that be a bit that's their peak? And then the next round after they knocked out Belgium, for fuck's sake, like in that group.
Yeah.
Finished ahead of Croatia, who obviously equal semi-finalists. Then they knocked out Spain. Then they knocked out Portugal, and so I think it was just there was a few injuries in the warm-up. Saiss went off early, and the problem is when you're playing against a nation such as France, their squad depth is ridiculous. And so if you're a quote-unquote smaller nation or someone with a lesser pool of players, it can get out of hand, as it were, quite easily. But the second France goal very much against the run of play, and Morocco, a bit of a sucker punch, as Morocco could have done a bit more. But bloody hell, that's a great story.
Yeah, it is. They had a bloody good go against France. 61% possession. They weren't afraid to have the ball. Obviously, France scored no early goal, which did slightly changed the run of the game. But Morocco have been superb, and as Oscar said, because you mentioned them, Chuck, beating Belgium, in those games they deservedly won those games, like Oscar said. So yeah, it's superb for them. I do fancy him against Croatia in the third place playoff, to be honest, and they're going to want that. That's going to be one. Usually that game's a complete write-off. I think they're going to want to win that. They're going to, I imagine, play probably a full strength team. I don't know. I don't know whether Croatia will rest, because obviously everyone's going back to their clubs and playing immediately. So maybe there'll be pressure from domestic clubs and that to rest players. But I think Monaco. I think Morocco will want to win that game, and will want to finish third, as high as any African nation has ever finished. But they deserve it as well.
Yeah, that'd be great. I mean, I think for the neutral sort of fans, or for the rest of everybody, it's between Japan and Morocco as who was the most sort of fun underdog team to watch and root for, who had their best moments and all that sort of stuff. I think Japan's wins in the knockouts were just outrageous, the manner of them.
Yeah.
But Morocco were just a good team. They were just a good fun team. Whereas Japan was, I think, perhaps a little bit luckier in their run.
I think it was probably a bit more entertaining on watching the play versus what the actual story became. It feels a lot more fairy tale. Taking Spain all the way to penalties and then destroying them as Morocco did. But you're right.
Blimey.
Japan, beat Spain, beat Germany in the group stages. That's huge. That's a massive thing, and we've seen those kind of stories, I guess, running through. That's why you look at the final 8 of the World Cup, from the quarterfinals. Morocco's in there. Croatia, you probably wouldn't expect. Netherlands a bit iffy. I mean, a lot got knocked out at around the 16, the romantic stories. But the fact that Morocco and Croatia are the ones that get all through to the semis. Brazil. Look at what we were saying about Brazil last time.
Yeah.
And how good they were. Statement win against Korea, and then South Korea, and then get outmanaged in the game when they're ahead, and Croatia, kind of as we said, Oscar, the more experienced, they managed to get through again on that one.
I don't know. Were you sad to see Brazil get knocked out?
Nah, it's funny, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm not bothered about that.
All right.
In the slightest. I think it's.
So you don't feel like we were robbed of Neymar, Messi in the semifinal there? That would have been fun to watch. I think.
More interested in Mbappe, Messi. That's a more interesting final matchup. Teammates, old and the new. That feels more interesting to me than. I'm not interested in Neymar, to be honest.
Two of the greatest player, the greatest living player, as it were, that's currently playing, the new generation.
Yeah.
In Qatar, that tiny atom that dared to dream. Two players that are the leading stars for Qatari state-owned team. I'm just saying that these are things. One of these two
things will be true after the final, and that is that either Mbappe will have won 2 World Cups before turning 23, or Messi will have finally gotten his World Cup and carried Argentina to a title.
Yeah.
So either way, there's some good narrative going into that.
And Messi's already said that this is his last game for Argentina.
Oh, entirely, has he? Right. Okay.
Well, he's retired a few times from them, though, so who knows?
Oh.
Maybe, but. I mean, let's get on to the final. Argentina performed really well. I think to get the 3-0 against Croatia, that's a pretty big, comprehensive result. And people would have seen probably the Julian Alvarez, the 3rd goal, and the way Messi at the age he is runs basically with the ball from the halfway line, cuts back, goes again, beautiful cutback. From a play that was orchestrated, just amazing, and I find it not that strange because people are stupid, but a lot of English people that are like, anyone but Argentina, don't want them to win. I don't give a shit about the Falklands and all that shit, or Maradona and whatever. Fuck Peter Shilton.
That's a 40-plus viewpoint, isn't it?
And some people being like, "Oh, we're not happy with the way they reacted to Netherlands in the penalty shootout." Do you remember when England played Colombia at the last tournament? Do you remember the pictures of John Stones like giving it the absolute big un because they were trying to get in their heads and they just done them? Yeah. So I'm fine with it. Argentina have probably my favourite player of all time outside of players, that have played for my club.
McAllister, blimey.
Fuck off. Yeah, that really hurts. That really hurts that some Brighton jabroni is probably going to win the World Cup. Like,
he's been great, man. He's been so good, though.
So annoying.
He's so good. I didn't know he was Argentinian. This whole time, I was like, that can't be the same one from Brighton.
Also, the name
and it is. There's a guy named McAllister. That traditional Argentinian name.
Yeah, exactly. You assume he's come up from Hibs or something through the Scottish Premier League. But no, he's Argentinian. So, yeah. And he's...
Argentinian star Seamus O'Finnigan leading the
line. But no, he has been good. And if any managers have been watching, he might get poached from Brighton. But you never know.
Mm-hmm. All right. So there's a sort of tangent to take. What are the big January moves that are coming out of this World Cup? There's always someone who puts themselves on the transfer window. Who do we think is going to get picked up by a bigger team in January?
Well, the obvious one is Bellingham. Yeah, I mean that's because the English media has obviously picked up on him. He sort of tailed off a bit towards England's end of the tournament, but yeah, he's bound to have interest just because of how young he is, how mature he seems on the ball. Just he's not panicked at all and that comes from. I mean, he has been a leader at Borussia Dortmund already. I mean, we all joked about Birmingham City. I definitely joked about Birmingham City retiring his number when they got rid of him. But you sort of get it a little bit now because of just how. Like I say, it's not just how good he is at football; it's genuinely the maturity that he seems to show and the leadership that he has shown for Dortmund. So I mean, obviously teams are going to be in for him. I don't know who else has put themselves in the shop window in a big way or been an previous unknown quantity for some don't know.
Well, I think every Moroccan player probably is now being linked to everyone. I think just in general, I think there are a few players for Japan probably. I've seen some Canadian players being linked with whomever because I know that was quite a while ago that we lost them, as it were. R.I.P. in peace. I think there could potentially be some of the US players.
Yes, that's not a bad shout. Actually, looking at North America as a continent might suddenly become a thing because we've had a gradual influx of American players to the Premier League and now American managers with Jesse Marsch, and I think that's a good shout. Actually, I think what are you giggling at?
The way you say his name, English people say it with such disdain. Oh, Jesse Marsch.
I love him.
Every time any English person talks about Jesse Marsch, it amuses me.
I've been nothing but a fan
I think he's great.
Yeah, I love him.
I'm not saying you guys are criticizing him. Just the taste in your mouth from having to say an American manager is just every time it cracks me up.
It's better than saying Bob Bradley, or the other one. Whoever the other one was.
Yeah, exactly. We've got a half decent one now, so quite happy with that.
Yeah. Well, we stand Jesse Marsch.
I do think. I think this World Cup will probably see a higher volume of players moving in January.
Okay, because it's so soon after?
Yeah, just because the instant thing, yeah.
Soon after, you know what managers are normally like in a pre-season format. They weigh up where the squad is, where they think they need additions. And so they've kind of all had that period now, teams playing 4 or 5 different friendlies, going off of different training mini tournaments and that kind of stuff. So I think, and with obviously the changes that happened in the league anyway, with the 5 subs and that kind of stuff, I think we'll see a higher volume of transfers in January than we have seen in previous years. Whether, it's hard to tell whether we see any massive money moves or not. Everyone's going to kind of hold off for maximum, it feels like, with your Bellinghams of the world. And so
you think we'll see more sort of squad building moves like we just said, hoovering up your American and Canadian and Moroccan players who will be those second tier or bench players or squad depth players. You think we'll see a bit more squad building? Because, like you say, managers will have had a chance to have looked at their squads, identified problems, and then sat and watched the World Cup and seen players who might fill those gaps.
Yeah, scouts out there watching the games.
Yeah.
You never know. That's why. So it's a bit of a cop out answer, but to be honest, I don't really know any majors. I have kind of switched off massively. Yeah, World Cup final though. We didn't mention who do we think is going to win. I mean, we all want Argentina, don't we?
Well, this is it. I think clearly. For me, my head says France will win, but I do want Argentina to win. I think so. It's head versus heart. For me,
I'm curious.
We
how
want
you say
Messi
that?
to win.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Sure.
Yeah, that is. I want Ronaldo to be sad, and that the way that happens is by Messi winning the World Cup.
Fair.
So yeah.
Oh, just him crying in a shower, telling himself he's good enough over and over again, and then starts doing push-ups in anger.
Yeah.
Like just visualizing that half hour after he sees Messi lifting the trophy, and the just extreme reactions going all over the places.
Yeah, it's
delightful.
Nectar, absolute nectar.
So do you think France are better, though? It sounds like you think France are better.
Yeah, overall as a squad, I do think France are better.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. I think Argentina have got Messi and then a weaker squad, and France have got a better squad. I think the way France have just slowly built into the tournament, I don't think they've got out of third gear, really. I think they should have against England. I think that because their speed in the counter-attack against England was very clear, it just didn't get used often enough. And that's because England were a bit more comfortable on the ball than we've been in previous tournaments. In previous tournaments, when England have been on the ball, you've crapped yourself immediately. We're going to fucking lose this headless chicken shit. And we weren't like that this tournament. We haven't been for a few tournaments now. But I think France didn't have to get out of third gear. Eventually, they had Giroud doing Giroud things, scoring the goals. And I think France probably are stronger than Argentina and are hitting. I think they'll just hit their straps at the right time, to be honest. I think Argentina have been a bit up and down. And when I say a bit up and down, I mean really quite up and down. I know they beat Croatia comfortably, as Chuck said, but I think that was more to do with Croatia just coming to the end of their rope, to be honest. They'd been, pretty physical. They played physically demanding games, Croatia, throughout, and that they're usually up for that, absolutely. But I just think they reached the end of their rope, and Argentina didn't have to do a lot to beat them. But Argentina have lost against Saudi Arabia. They've laboured against some teams for their victories, and I just feel like France are just coasting and will just step it up a notch. And I think they will win. I think probably relatively comfortably, but it does depend on Messi. I think a lot does depend on Messi because I think he just very clearly makes them tick, not just from a football wise, but emotionally. The team ticks around Messi, and if he's playing well, it does lift the others. And I think a lot depends on him. I don't want to be that reductive about it, but I do think that you are looking at that. You are looking at if Messi plays well, I think this is and lifts the players around him, I think we're looking at a very good game. If Messi's just slightly off the ball, I think France will do very well.
If we see a similar kind of balance of play, as it were, as we saw in like the England-France game, where France sat off and England obviously controlled the ball for longer stretches of time. If we transpose that onto Argentina-France, and that situation's the same, and Argentina are controlling, I'd expect them to be more clinical and finish those chances though against them. Albeit, England fixated so much on Mbappe that there's a Griezmann, there's a Dembele, there's all these other fantastic players.
Been so good.
Yeah, really, really good. And didn't get the chance really to exploit even more that left defence of Hernandez and Upamecano. Who was really weak, and now that they've changed that to Varane and Konate, they basically kept France in it against Morocco. They were the reason that Morocco, if you look at the XG, it doesn't really tell the picture because they were cutting that out before Morocco had the chance.
That's true.
So if they can do that, I think it's a really good matchup. I think it's two teams that definitely deserve to be there in the final. No kind of team that's gone a step too far. I think both of them we were kind of sceptical about. Argentina lost their first game against Saudi Arabia. France lost
that
against
feels like
Tunisia.
10 years ago.
It really
does, doesn't it? and France lost to Tunisia the third game, albeit they rotated their squad massively.
They were playing a very second string team, but yeah, absolutely, you still would expect them to win. Yeah,
they've both grown in the knockout stages to kind of now it seems that this could be the two teams at their peak, which in terms of watching it and wanted it to happen is great. We either get to see Lionel Messi lift a trophy, or we get to see the first team retain the World Cup in pretty much all of our lifetime.
Ian, do you remember that? Or...
Good.
Ian,
good.
Yeah, that was your first World Cup?
Fond memories? First World Cup, second World Cup?
Yeah.
First World Cup, then you got evacuated, and then...
Evacuated?
Oh, it was the time. But yeah, I think I want... I'd like to see Lionel Messi lifting the last trophy he's ever going to need to lift.
Oh, how romantic! We did say early on that was what we wanted. Barring England win, obviously, although Oscar didn't want that. But
nope,
the Argentina, that is what we wanted, and it does. Yeah, I mean, it would be an amazing story.
It's great that the Golden Boot as well. All the guys that are up there for the Golden Boot are involved in this game. Messi and Mbappe, I think, also have the highest assists. They're both on for the Golden Ball. So, effectively every single award that could be given in this tournament is between the two teams that are in the final. It feels like.
Yeah, that feels good, actually, yeah.
It does have a throwback World Cup vibe. I had this conversation with Emily, because after Messi did that third goal, that dribble, I just turned to her and I was like, we're so fucking blessed to live in the time of Messi. Like, we're just so lucky to have been born at the right time to be soccer fans through his entire prime. Like, incredible.
Yeah.
And this whole tournament feels like, I had long said that it's not possible anymore for an individual to carry a team to a World Cup title. And that was always the knock against Messi. Oh, Maradona carried Argentina, and look, now Messi can't do it. And I was always like, I don't really think that's possible anymore. And I don't think that's what's happened here. I'm not trying to discredit or take any credit away from the rest of France or the rest of Argentina, but this has been tactically a system where both of those countries just saw an extreme level of talent in one individual and built a system around that in a way that I don't think we've seen since the 80s, really.
Yeah.
Argentina just have everything built around give Messi the ball with space between the lines, and he'll either dribble it or he'll pass it, and then he'll get on the 1-2 end of the other pass.
Yeah.
And everything revolves around Messi in the middle. And France's whole deal is, let's sit back, you can have the ball all you want, whatever, at some point we'll get it, and then we'll just play Mbappe into space. And just their entire, not entire blueprint, but the core of their tactical setup is get Mbappe space. And the core of Argentina's setup is get Messi the ball and time. And both of those teams are going to play into each other's hands in that final, very much the way England and France played into each other's hands. And I think it's going to be really fun to watch. But I think at the end of the day, you give Messi space and time, and he's just going to fucking punish you.
100 million%. I think it's really interesting you put it like that, and because it's also that is their game plans, but it's not in the way of the second they get the ball, they're like, we got to give it to that guy. It's not. It's all of the creative moves and the setup and the build-up play is all to give Messi that space, is to give Mbappe, but it's not. None of it's about the other players shit in the bed and just constantly trying to give it to that one player, as it were. It's all really, really well balanced in it, and because we said it last time that we don't want to discredit the rest of those squads, because fuck me, they're still really good players. We say France is better than Argentina, but this doesn't mean that Argentina squad is shit. They're really, really fucking good.
Yeah, with all fine margins stuff, yeah.
But this is the best Argentina I've ever seen. I wasn't alive for Maradona's Argentina, so this is definitely the best Argentina I've ever seen.
Yeah, but everyone says exactly that team was 10 guys plus Maradona. This one, people in a very reductive sense will say it's 10 guys plus Messi, but it's really not.
That. Yeah.
It's really not, and so I think we're poised for a good final. Probably won't watch it though, to be honest. Got a lot
on Sunday. Yeah.
So Chuck, Ian has France. Who do you have? Let's put final sort of picks on the line.
Argentina.
Here. Argentina. Argentina. Me too. Yeah, I think Messi will do
Argentina. Extra time.
Well, I hope you're right.
Ooh. Okay. Extra time.
I'd hate to see whoever wins it on penalties. I don't want to see.
Oh, no penalties.
No penalties.
No.
Not a final.
No penalties. Please, this deserves better than that. This deserves to be settled in regulation, in open play, with just beautiful goals. No mistakes, no bad refereeing.
Unless it goes to penalties because it finishes 7-7.
Yeah,
sure.
we'll take that. Yeah.
It's so against my character to not root for just shithouse and chaos and just be like, I want someone to be really angry at the end of this and feel hard done by, because that's just my personality. But I want this to be a perfectly refereed, no fan drama, no mistakes, just a clean, pure, beautiful fucking game. I don't know that I've really rooted for that many times in my life.
It's strange for you, yeah.
Yeah, but I want this to be deserved and beautiful and clean.
Yeah.
I want Messi to just no caveats, no asterisks, no nothing. Just fucking he did it. All right, then shall we quiz?
Quiz! Woo! Is it gonna be as easy as last week?
Quiz time. Chuck the gun up.
Yeah, actually, no, fuck the music. Let's talk about last week.
No,
what the fuck was that? What the fuck was that?
So what?
Unbelievable.
What
the
was that?
engineering that goes into
Quiz.
making sure that I
Sorry,
don't
what?
run away with a quiz victory at any point
Sorry?
is unbelievable. Frankly,
No.
unbelievable. Ask you.
So you're breaking up, mate. I can't.
Yeah,
So what?
all right.
I don't know. I see it as repayment for that time we had to do a Top Gun bluffer after I'd told you many, many, many times I'd never seen the film. So that's my point back.
That's your choice. No.
You make bad life choices. That's not
You
our
make
problem.
bad life choices. Watch Top Gun. I don't feel pity for you at all.
I watched it.
If anything,
crap.
watch Top Gun independent of the quiz. You should just watch Top Gun.
I did. It's shit. It's so bad.
That's some hot takes right now.
It's so bad.
Oh dear.
If I'd have watched it as a child, it would have been good. But I'm an adult, so I have eyes and opinions.
Clearly.
Well, Ian, I think you'll be much happier this week because this quiz is worth double points.
Oh, double point quiz.
Ian,
double points. This is worth 2 quizzes.
And is it about Peterborough and tropical
Very
fish?
good, Chuck.
He's lost that.
No, but the name of this quiz, Chuck, you're not going to like this one, is
Why would I?
Everyone But Chuck.
Okay.
That's the name of the quiz. Everyone But Chuck. Get yourselves a pen and paper. This is a standard 10-question trivia.
Didn't you do a quiz about Peterborough?
No,
That's where you
I did
a
not.
quiz about Peterborough. Oh.
Your persecution complex, Chuck.
Ugh. I got a dog. I got a dog named after me.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Question the first. What is Ian Stimson's favorite color?
What?
What is Ian Stimson's favorite color?
I see what's happened there.
Chuck, if you can guess these answers, you will absolutely get points for getting the correct answers. Ian, I'm assuming you know the answer to this. So question the first. What is Ian Stimson's favorite color?
Well, you must have asked him.
Yeah, I'm going to get the first 5 right, but I'm guessing you're going to get the last 5 right. But anyway, let's go on. Carry
Okay. do you want me to answer?
Yes, please.
Blue.
Oh, ding ding. Point to Ian and point to Chuck. Ian, I'm assuming you knew that your own favorite color is blue.
Yes. I don't really have a favourite colour, but as I said to you, Oscar, most of my clothes seem to be blue, so I don't know really how that happened, so I'm just going to assume. Maybe it's a Peterborough United thing, I just naturally...
That's what I was going for.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go.
Blue. Okay, 1 point each. Score is 1-1.
I get a point for that.
The second. You get a point for that. Yes, you knew your own favorite color. Very good, Ian.
Okay.
Very proud of you. Question
collusion.
the second. What is the most recent movie that Ian Stimson saw?
We're talking non-pornographic, right?
That Ian Stimson saw. I'm only going off of the answers that were given to me by an objective panel of experts.
In the non-pornographic category.
Yeah.
Yes, it is not a pornographic movie that I know of.
Top Gun, Maverick.
Let me give.
Sorry
hang
to
on.
say.
I want to say let's give him another go because when you asked this, I didn't know whether you meant new release or film I'd just seen on television. So I'll tell you, Chuck, it was just a film I saw on television, and I think you can have another go.
Oh, Christmas film.
Ian,
Home
you're
Alone.
so nice. I'm trying to fix this in your favor.
worry
And you're
about
like,
it.
no,
Home Alone.
let's be nice.
It wasn't Home Alone, no.
It was not Home Alone.
It was Love Actually.
The answer
Oh, that would have been
is
my other
Love
guess.
Actually. Very good. Ding, ding. Point to Ian Stimson on that one.
Congratulations. To be fair, this at Ian's age...
I might forget some of the answers.
That's true. I do have them in front of me, so there is an actual answer. Question the third. Who is Ian Stimpson's favorite ever Posh player?
Favourite ever?
Listeners, I hope you're playing along and taking guesses at home. Who is Ian Stimpson's favorite ever Posh player?
It's got to be Ivan Toney. That is the correct answer. Whether he wants to pick some player from 1989 or whatever.
No.
Some shit muncher.
No.
Ian Stimpson, your answer?
I went George Boyd.
Oh, fuck
correct.
yeah, it
George
is George
Boyd. That is
it?
the correct answer.
Yeah. No.
Oh, good. I'm glad you've been accepted of that. Yeah.
No, yeah, it is. Yeah. No, we've spoken about that before. Fair.
Question the fourth. What was the first CD that Ian Stimpson ever purchased?
Oh, fuck me. It's going to be something terrible, isn't it?
I judged him for it, but, you know.
Boom Funk MCs. Freestyler.
No. Ian Stimpson, your answer.
So the first CD I bought, I was a poor child. It was a long time before I had a CD player. My first CD was a single, and it was Hanson Mbop.
Excellent.
I mean, right. That is a shocker, but I felt I had to be honest. That is
I was around the right time, though. They're both like mid-90s.
I'd had cassettes before that, but he was very specific on CD. So
well,
it is, yes, it did say CD.
No very one's good. Gaining anything from this experience.
The listeners are getting to know Ian much better and potentially almost ready to steal his identity. Yeah. The next question, what was the name of Ian Stimpson's childhood pet?
Grandmother's maiden name.
What are the last three digits of his security?
Exactly. Question the fourth. If you could change one rule about soccer, what rule? Question the fifth, sorry, yes. If Ian Stimpson could change one rule about soccer, what rule would he change?
What? Oh, Peterborough must start 2-0 up in all situations.
That seems
that's a good answer, actually. It's a pretty good answer, but that is not correct. Ian Stimpson, your answer.
I said I like the MLS thing that MLS they did for a bit of the penalties, yeah.
Question the sixth. What is my favourite colour?
Oh, it's not Chuck. I thought you'd have done it the other way round.
No, then Chuck would know the answers and it would not be in your favour at all.
Right, you literally haven't.
This is what's the name of the quiz, Ian? Everyone but Chuck.
So harsh. Although you did just give him a point last week. So
I gave him a point last week.
Yeah, but I would have liked it if the questions about me were these questions, so I could at least,
I can't remember what colours you can see.
You can't see red and green or purple.
Yeah. Okay. I've got a colour written down then.
I am going to say, fuck. Well, I'm wondering if it is also blue, just because of Chelsea.
Is that your answer?
Yeah, it's either blue or for some reason I've got orange in my head, but blue.
Okay, and Ian, your answer?
I've got yellow.
It is blue. Point to Chuck. Stands at 5-2. Blue is correct, and that is also the only color I can see perfectly. I can see all shades of blue like a normal color vision person can. Huh. Question number 7. What is the most recent movie that I saw?
Oh, I don't know.
Actually, I don't know either.
Brilliant.
Fuck's sake. Right, point each.
Well, if one of you says it, then I'll know you're right.
Right, okay. Fucking hell. And do we mean, like what I said, any film or new release?
Yeah, any film. The most recent movie that I saw from start to finish.
Okay. Die Hard.
I don't know. Fucking the one... Black Panther 2. Electric Boogaloo.
Ooh, that's close. That's the most recent one I saw in theaters, but I did watch Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse since then.
Oh, did you? You're kidding. Oh my god, I nearly wrote that down. Okay.
Oh, shut up,
I know.
prick.
That's so annoying when people say that. I know. Yeah. Fucking hell.
Who is my favorite ever Chelsea player? You both should know the answer to this, but who is my favorite ever Chelsea player?
Michael Ballack.
Correct. Very good. Yes. I'm going to change this one up. What was the final CD I ever purchased?
The most recent CD.
Well, as in, you're refusing to. Are we talking about for all eternity?
Yeah, it's been 3 years since I bought a CD. I bought my last CD and I decided that was my last one, and I have self-imposed as I often do, and that is my final CD.
3 years.
3 years ago.
I have an answer.
4 years? 3 or 4 years.
I have an answer.
Okay.
Have you written something down?
I've got an answer. Yeah.
The Black Panther soundtrack, the first one. I don't know who it was by.
I do, and that's so funny you say that because my answer was just going to be a Kendrick Lamar record,
That guy.
and I couldn't think of...
Holy fuck. Both of you get this point. Have I talked about this to you?
I don't know.
It was the Black Panther album. It is a Kendrick Lamar album, and I did decide ahead of time that was going to be the final CD I ever purchased.
I think you might have mentioned that before, yeah.
Okay. Wow. Incredible. Both of you got that right.
He's so happy that we know him. Look at it.
I'm so happy. You know me so well. I feel so seen right now. I feel so validated.
There you go.
Oh, I love you guys. Oh, that's nice.
This is a
nice.
very
Points
friendly
all
quiz.
around.
You know what, though? Because I'm at a disadvantage here now.
Very much so.
Well, I was
Yeah,
4-3 ahead
bit.
in the quiz. We fucked about, and now we're drawing in the quiz.
It's going to be 5-5 once I win this, yeah.
Why are we still going? Oh my god.
Let him ask
Question number 10.
I should just
If I
shut
could
up.
change one rule about soccer, what rule would I change?
Oh,
no
refs, robots.
I mean, that's not one specific rule, but I would absolutely do that, yes.
Robot refs, yeah.
I've given my answer.
Oh, that is genuinely your answer. Robot refs. I'll say you'd bring. This is what I should have brought back. Golden goal. Love a bit of golden goal.
Oh, that is a good one, too. No, I would get rid of offsides.
Oh, that's a terrible
Fucking
idea. We've
just
talked
let 'em-
about
just
this.
let 'em
No,
do
that's
whatever.
great.
Idea. It's great. It's not great. It'd be
Yeah,
awful.
great.
Do it. Do it.
It'd be so
Do it.
bad.
All right, well, yay, Ian, play your music, you won.
I'm not
yeah.
cheering that. I'm not cheering that.
So upset, and with good reason. I'll be honest.
I was before last week. I was 4-3 up.
Yeah.
I've gained. Ian's the only person who's gained by not being here.
Yeah, that's true. It's been an absolute
Well,
stitch
it
up.
goes to show. Just put in
this
less
is-
effort, Chuck.
Really?
Trying. When's the World Cup final? Sunday. There you
Sunday,
go.
mate,
That's
yeah.
coming. Then it's Christmas. We
Tomorrow,
might record.
potentially, depending on when you're listening to this.
Or yesterday,
listener.
or a week ago, or 4 years
yesterday.
ago. If
Sometime.
you've come to this episode because we've told you to come in one of our 2026 preview pods to go back and listen to an old episode, please slap me, because why am I still doing this in 4 years?
Yeah, are you kidding me? I'm not still doing this by the next World Cup.
Based on the enthusiasm level.
Oh, just play the music.
You really want to Fine.
Just play the music. We might record again before Christmas. If we don't, Merry Christmas, you filthy animals. Happy New Year. Football will probably be back then, unless it isn't, because everyone in this fucking country's on strike. Who knows? Say goodbye, Oscar Puente.
Satire.
Bye.
Say goodbye, Ian Stimson.
Bye-bye.
Bye to my namesake, Bailey the dog. And thanks to all our producers, Nate, Jeff, John, Mark, Tom. Another one? Andy, bye.
I'm going to drown him in a bucket.